Hello Clash fans! Trample Damage coming out today with a very cool army taking advantage of the Overgrowth spell. And this attack is brought to you by Timmy J, with all your clashing needs since 2000, whenever Timmy started. So this attack, I'm going to show you this one here, this is a minute and a half. This just absolutely bowls this base right over. It's crazy how powerful this and how fast this army is. You can see we already deployed one Root Rider, and two Witches. Did we get, no, only one Witch so far, and two Valkyries. So what we're going to wind up looking at is this army composition, which I probably should have pushed those buttons a little bit slower, just to make sure that you can see the army composition that we are using here. We'll jump in and go pause. It is 7 Root Riders, 14 Valks, 4 Witches, and an Apprentice Warden, and you will note we are using the Siege Barracks, which in its heyday only ever disgorged 1 P.E.K.K.A, but now gives us 2 P.E.K.K.A s to help battle these enemy bases. And the general gist here is absolute spam. I'm not going to say it takes no skill, because I'm going to wind up trying this attack my first time by myself after showing you a couple of Timmy's easy triples, and we will see. If it is no skill whatsoever, maybe I will have a shot, even though of course I do have some skills. And the general gist is creating a little bit of funneling, so we're going to wipe out some stuff down here, wipe out some stuff up here, send the rest of our troops through the core, and just power our way to the town hall using the Overgrowth spell to buy us time by paralyzing some of the defenses. The one thing I don't know that I fully understand is why we do not have a poison spell in here. I am going to wind up doing a slightly different army comp where I'm going to bring a poison spell instead of this 5th freeze that we have down here. So the general gist is we are going to come in with a Root Rider, a pair of Valkyries, and a pair of Witches on this side. And we're going to come in with a Root Rider, a pair of Valkyries, and a pair of Witches on the top side. Then once they make just a little bit of headway, we're going to go ahead and spam the rest of our Root Riders, Valks, Apprentice Warden, Siege, King, Queen, Champ, and the Barbarian. What did I say? Who did I miss? The Grand Warden. So we're headed in here, and we are, of course, using a couple of freeze spells to help slow some stuff down. And we are going to wind up triggering the Warden's Eternal Tome early on in conjunction with the Healing Tome. Now, one thing that I will note here is we are rocking the Barbarian King's Giant Gauntlet with this army composition, and of course he is very dangerous and very deadly. Now you can see where the Overgrowth spell comes in. The troops are about halfway across the base, and the Overgrowth spell, which, if you have not looked at this, the aesthetics on this are really awesome. Every building individually gets wrapped up by some of those roots. I just love the way this spell looks. So those are now essentially taken out of the equation for the time being, so the Root Riders are going to focus on the other defenses. Now, right now, because of where that is, we're not getting targeted by the Expo, the Inferno Towers, the Town Hall. A lot of buildings that would normally be doing stuff are doing nothing, and we are using our freeze spells and our rage spells to help us move across the base. Around, and this is where I think some timing is going to come in handy for making sure that you're timing this correctly. We time this correctly, and then we've got some freeze spells available for the Town Hall and whatever other buildings are around there, as our troops have been able to approach this last area with relatively minimal impediment, because we are, of course, running the Overgrowth spell. It's like 2 freeze spells versus an Overgrowth. If you time it correctly, the Overgrowth is such a massive value. That attack went so incredibly fast. Timmy has been on an absolute roll with this army composition. I want to say it's like 4 or 5 wars in a row that he has had a pair of triples in each of these wars. I will pause this for a moment to tell you, if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe here on YouTube. And of course, follow me on TikTok and follow me on Instagram and follow me on Reddit. You can follow people on Reddit, even though I don't produce content that is unsuitable for work. You can follow me on Reddit. I have almost 1,000 followers on Reddit. So what we're going to do is take a look here at this base. Same general gist, right? We've got a Root Rider, 2 Valkyries, and 2 Witches. And on this side, we've got a Root Rider and 2 Valkyries and 2 Witches. And then we're going to spam everything else in through the core. Looks like Timmy decided to throw a Valkyrie on the outside there. And again, it's just an absolute mass amount of stuff. And maybe the not using a poison spell is perfectly fine, because we're going against Ice Golems, and we can stop Ice Golems. Early Warden with the Healing Tome. We're going to go ahead and go in double time. You're going to see the exact same thing when we get about halfway across the base, as we are aggressively using our freeze spells to keep an eye on those ricochet cannons and the multi-inferno towers. We are going to go ahead and drop the Overgrowth spell. And again, it's so cool. I love the tentacles coming up and those roots just paralyzing those defenses. That is a lot of DPS from some ground expos that would normally be laying into our army right now, but they are offline completely thanks to the overgrowth spell, giving our troops time to work their way across the map until eventually that, of course, wears off, and they are then focused on taking out the rest of those defenses in the core. Queen is using the frozen arrow. I do not use the frozen arrow. I tend to use the healer puppet and the invisibility vial with my archer queen. I anticipate this is a very fast attack, so I don't know. This is a very powerful, very straightforward army composition. I feel like there's going to be a little bit of learning curve in making sure that you know when to freeze and when to drop your skeleton spell. That's one of those things that I've seen people in the past using some of these kinds of armies, and they are using a bunch of free spells and their skeleton spells, and sometimes, I know myself, I go a little bit too aggressively sometimes in deploying all of my spells, but as long as you're able to be a little bit patient, I think you'll wind up in good shape. Okay, now here's one that was a little bit different, and I need to ask Timmy why he chose to do this. Instead of putting the siege barracks over here, the siege barracks is coming in on the side, and I don't know if this is something that he does sometimes just for fun or if there was a specific rationale. But the siege barracks, the siege barracks has 2 root riders and a Valkyrie and 2 barbarians inside of it. So we're dropping the siege barracks over here and letting those P.E.K.K.A.s come out, and then 2 witches, root rider, and 2 Valks. We'll come back to them in a moment. One thing that I don't love is when we deploy a siege barracks near the ricochet cannon, the P.E.K.K.A.s will sometimes wind up both getting hit, which I don't think is great because the ricochet cannon deals a ton of damage. But if they split up a little bit, it will be a conduit to destroying the wizards, which is exactly what happens here. The P.E.K.K.A.s take a couple of points of damage together, and then a couple of wizards are going down because that P.E.K.K.A. is being targeted by the ricochet cannon. So, I don't know, not always the greatest. So we've got, again, triple ice golems and a balloon. We've got a rage spell. We've got a heal. We've got the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome being triggered. I don't know that I love the heal spell because of where he's using it, but he's doing it, so I might tinker with this a little bit differently. I'm going to try this army composition. Again, only one difference I'm going to try is 1 less freeze, but I'm going to bring a poison. We've got the roots coming in, or the overgrowth spell with all of its roots paralyzing those defenses. And again, just taking some stuff offline. This one is kind of fascinating because the town hall is exposed. So these troops are actually going to come through here. And I think he triggers the king. Yeah, he triggers the king's ability right in through here. And the town hall is actually targeted now by the rest of these troops as we are waiting for the overgrowth spell to wear off. I don't know if that was a misplaced overgrowth spell or if Timmy is just that good with it that he made it to where the town hall was exposed so that these troops could come through here and trash it. Couple of free spells left on the back end. They are essentially swagged, but this base goes down very, very quickly. And this was 2 wars ago. And again, this is, I want to say it's either 4 wars or 5 wars in a row that Timmy has been wrecking stuff using this army composition. We'll show you one more before we wind up jumping into an attack of my own. I'm going to give this a shot here. And I will just tell you, if you, centrally located town hall. So I know what you're thinking, but trample damage, all you're showing us is against these box bases. And that's true. And it is a great army for these box bases if executed properly. But we are going to go ahead and show you here against a centrally located town hall. While we tell you, I am very proud of my podcast, Inside Clash with Trample Damage. If you do not listen to podcasts, there are Clash podcasts out there where you can hear my haunting and melodic voice for 35 to 45 minutes. Actually, it's closer to like 45 to 50 minutes on each of these episodes. But check out my podcast. Lots of fun commentary about the game. It's an auditory medium, so, time killing on a school bus or your drive to work or public transportation or whatever. Feel free to check out my podcast, Inside Clash. So, same setup. Couple witches, couple Valkyries, root rider, and then the rest of our troops heading in toward the core, and then Grand Warden's Eternal Tome along with, again, I don't know that I fully understand the heal spell, and we've got some other troops that are coming in here heading in toward the town hall. Now, overgrowth spell coming down on a lot of heavy DPS. We got a scatter shot, we got a ricochet cannon, a multi-arch tower, a bomb tower, a single target tower, couple of builder huts, and the 3 builder huts, and the town hall, and an invisibility vial. So they're going to bypass all this stuff. And then, by the time they're done wrecking a bunch of the things around it, the Barbarian King's like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take the town hall. Oh, never mind, invisibility vial. I'm going to go this way. Never mind, I'm going to go through here. Oh, never mind, I'm going to get the town hall. And then the Root Riders and the Royal Champion came in and took it out on the back end. This is an absolutely fascinating army composition, and I am very interested to try it. A couple of my bases, I think, still need to use a power potion, or not a power potion, but we need to upgrade the Valkyries on a couple of these bases. But I feel like this army composition would work just fine at Town Hall 15 as well. In fact, I think it would be very successful at Town Hall 15. Okay, so that is that. We are now going to go ahead and just give this a shot with... I do have a couple of attacks left in our current war, so we are going to jump over to one of my other 16s and give this a shot.
3, 2, 1!
This will be my first time using this attack. We've got a war going actually against some friendly folks. I've been friendly with 6 Degrees family for a while, and we are going to go ahead and... I think this is the base. Yes, my homie Silk. I'm going to go and attack my homie Silk using this army composition. We will see how this winds up turning out. Oh, we don't have max Valks. I should have done this on a different account, but I believe we have a power potion. I do. Boost army. And since I'm doing that, I may as well boost my heroes. So we'll give it a shot based on what we've learned. We're going to go ahead and go a Root Rider, a Valk, 2 Witches. We will go a Root Rider, a Valk, 2 Witches. And then we will, go Root Riders, Valkyries, Heroes. I do not have the Giant Gauntlet, so we'll see if maybe that is potentially one of the issues that we will run into. We will go ahead and... I'm going to use a poison spell because I just feel like not using a poison spell is an absolutely terrible idea. We'll go ahead and trigger Early Warden with Healing Tome, and we will heal through here at this point. We'll go ahead and freeze the Eagle Artillery. We're going to go ahead and do the Overgrowth spell at this point on all that scary stuff, and we will... rage through here, and I don't know what I want to freeze. Maybe I want to freeze some of the town hall stuff. We have a skeleton spell to help distract stuff. That whole side is wide open, so that's unfortunate. But we're not taking damage from all these things, and we're about to run out of the Overgrowth spell, so we'll go ahead and I guess we'll put a skeleton spell over here to distract. We'll freeze some of that stuff. So I do have the Vamp Stash and the Barbarian Puppet on my Barbarian King because that is my... maybe I should have saved that freeze, but that's okay. That's my drug of choice on my Barbarian King. And if the Royal Champ can take out the Town Hall and get the King out of there, we might have a shot here. I do not have... So I've got Healer Puppet on the Archer Queen. It would be nice if one of the Root Riders can stay alive long enough. We're going to get a lot of hit point recovery here out of the Royal Champion, but we are not going to get to the Ricochet Cannon with that. Although this looks like this could be a triple. Go trample damage. We got King ability. Royal Champion is going to have to go it alone over there. She is not going to take those down. Okay, so now it's a question of time. We definitely have the firepower, and the Queen... the Queen could get to the Ricochet Cannon. If she cuts across the middle, we might not be in bad shape. King and P.E.K.K.A.s can go down around the outside. Oh, she's coming down the outside. And with 30 seconds left, I don't think we have enough time. So we're going to run into a time fail here. We got 10 more seconds. We got 10 more buildings to get through. And the P.E.K.K.A. and the Barbarian King and the... I don't think that they're going to wind up being any use whatsoever. Nope, we're going to have a time fail. Well, I guess it could have gone better. It could have gone worse. We still, it's definitely a time fail as opposed to an actual fail. But here's an example of when those Barbarian Puppets are actually pretty solid. Maybe if I had triggered them sooner, we could have gotten it. So a defense. It does not work out for me. But it was I like the army for literally the very first time I've ever tried it. And that's just after watching Timmy take it a couple of times. I feel like it's got some merit. Like I said before, if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to the channel and check me out on TikTok and Instagram, and I guess start following me on Threads also, because Instagram has been telling people to follow me on Threads. And make sure to share with a clanmate, and of course, always use code TRAMPLE, and do not forget to check out my podcast, Inside Clash with Trample Damage. Until next time, we will check you guys out on the next video.